Hey guys, what's up? Oh, look at this. I'm gonna hit you with some double duty here. Look at this. And then, yeah, gifts. I got some gifts. I'm gonna give the deer out here in the woods a gift, okay? And this is kind of Steve-O's deal. I don't know if anybody else is doing it. I'm sure a million people have done this, but this is my deal. I robbed Miss Daisy's pantry. I went in, I said, you got any peanut butter? Yes, I bought some Jiffy in there, but there's two other in there that you can have, and this was one of them. She got a Green Wise Crunchy. I don't know, she's been into this, I can see. She said you can have that one, and then there's little Smucker's Natural Peanut Creamy, and then we have old Steve-O standby Grandma's molasses. Yeah, we're gonna mix these up, and probably ought to put on 2 pairs of gloves for this. Yeah, I got a bowl here. I'm just gonna dump all this stuff in this bowl here. A buddy of mine called me. This has been about 6 years ago, and he called me and said, "Come on up." He said, "We got a bow hunt. Come on up here." He was in Florida. North Florida, Pensacola. I said, "Where are we gonna hunt?" "Oh, the wildlife management area," he said. I said, "Really?" "Yeah." I said, "Which one's that?" He said, "Apalachicola." I said, "Okay, cool." And so I go up. The hunt was for like a week. All right. So anyway, he had some spots picked out, and he showed me around a little bit, and he showed me where he was going to hunt. Anyway, found this old logging road. A lot of old logging road places up there. Back in the early days, they cut out a lot of the virgin timber up there, and there was this old logging road coming out of the swamp, and so I started down that logging road. It was all grown up. There was a slight deer path coming down the center of the logging road. So I'm looking for trees, and then I came to a spot where a deer came up, a trail came up, and came up on over top of the logging road and down. So I looked, I said, "Huh, that's a nice spot right there." It was pretty woolly back in, pretty tight in there. So I'm looking around behind me where I came from, back to the west, and here's a perfect tree there for my climbing. So, and I got, it was perfect. About 20-yard shot from that little trail coming out of the swamp up over. My stand was going to be 20 yards back. I said, perfect. So, coming back, done our scouting. This was evening scouting when I got up there. And we're coming back for the night for dinner, and then we're going to bed down, and we're going to go out in the morning. Had my spot. So anyway, I said, "Pull into this grocery store here." So we pulled in there. He said, "What do you need?" I said, "I need to get a little something to little energy treat." I told him. And this can be an energy treat I'm whipping up here for you guys. It's good, okay? Deer and pigs love this, okay? So I got my grannies here. Let's just drizzle some of this in. Whoa, I'm getting it all over I got a fan here blowing it all over my shirt. Way to go, Steve-O. Way to go, Steve-O. Blow it all, molasses all over your shirt. Oh well, we gotta break it in, right? So I go in there, guys, and I find and ask the girl, you got any molasses? Yeah, there's some at Granny's over there. I said, perfect, perfect. Oh yeah, guys, look at this here. You talk about perfect. You talk about perfect, huh? I think we need a little more of this. A little more of this molasses action. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, guys. Oh yeah. Steve-O's coming up with something good here now, guys. Now, in this wildlife management area, it says in the rules, no baiting or placing any food stuff on it. You cannot take out plants, you can't bring plants in, you can't bait animals. Right. And I said, I saw that rule and I went, yeah, right. So I got my peanut butter and, you know, molasses. The law said don't do that. And I said, yeah, we're right. Okay. Oh God, this molasses is, oh God. You want to do here, guys, just mix this up. You don't want it too soupy, okay? You don't want this too soupy. Miss Daisy's going to kick my ass for getting molasses all over my shirt and shorts here. Not really. She's a good girl. She won't kick my ass much. She might give me a verbal scolding though. Oh well. Those don't hurt, guys. You know. You can put, you know, those earplugs. If they get too rowdy on you, get too mouthy, these women, they got those earplugs down at Lowe's. Keep them in your pocket all the time. Just slip a couple in. You won't, you know, she can be ripping on you. You won't hear her, you know. And just every once in a while, turn around, and just, yeah, nod your head, right. This is going to do it right here, guys. This is going to do it. This is the right consistency right here. You see how thick that is? Look how thick that is. So here's what you're going to do if you do what I did. Get you a gallon Ziploc, right? Get you a gallon Ziploc and just spoon the stuff in. I'll put a couple cups in there, right? That's what I did. So I go in the morning to my stand, I slip in. This is in my little fanny pack. I got this bag of stuff in my fanny pack, and here's my story. If I got, what is this? What is this substance you have on in your pack? If Johnny Warden was to come in, that is my homemade energy bar, but it's kind of in officer. It's kind of in a thick form. Perfect. Perfect. He'd probably, yeah, it's next to my water bottle there, sir. Yeah, if I get hungry, this keeps me from coming out of the woods too early, officer. It's an energy thing that I came up with, right? So what you can do is put this in a gallon Ziploc, right? Maybe halfway full, drop it in your pack. I slipped in that morning, went right on over to the tree that was 20 yards over from my stand. I get to the first thing I did, pulled out my pack, and I was unzipped it and put my hand on the inside, on the outside, pushing in, and I just pushed it right on up. I smeared it all over that tree. This thick stuff hangs right to the tree, guys, right to the tree. It wasn't an hour after daybreak, I looked and I see him coming. He's a spike. He's got about 5-6 inch spikes coming out of his head. He's coming out of that swamp, coming right. His nose is in the air, guys. Nose is in the air. Coming to Steve-O's bait. Yeah. He comes right up, and this was kind of halfway up the side of that road was built up pretty high. He came up where this tree was. He come up halfway, and he started eating that stuff right away. I mean, he was on it. Then I watched him. I got my bow ready. Was hanging on my hook here. Got my bow. Come around in my chair. Got squared away with him. He was kind of quartering to me when he first, but then he was really getting in that peanut butter, right? And then he come up a little bit higher and he started turning. He turned perfectly quartering away, guys. And I saw the pocket. I saw the pocket right behind that leg, front leg. So I took my pocket rocket, which was a 125 grain 3-blade Muzzy, and I pulled back and I put it right on the pocket. Had all the time in the world, guys. All the time in the world. And I tripped the trigger, and he went jumping straight up, turned, and went flying back down the same trail he came in, which they normally will. They'll go back down the same trail they come in usually. He did. So I waited about 15 minutes. I knew it was a good shot. I come down real quiet, went on over. There was that shaft stuck in the ground. It had hit him right here on this side and came poking out right over here in the front of this leg, went completely across the engine room, through his ticker, and stabbed in the ground. The arrow was sopping wet top to bottom. So I get on the telephone, I call my bud, he's a young fella, and I'd blood trailed for him before. He'd shot a hog, and I blood trailed for him once before. And he couldn't find that hog, and I went in and I picked up a trail, that little faint trail that he didn't see. I went down and there was a drop of blood. I said, here he is. So I started down, and I got a hold of him, called him over, and we went down there and found his hog. He was so happy with that. He thought I was Mr. Blood Trailer from Mr. Pro Blood Trailer from the best, you know. Anyway, it was pretty good. So I called. He said, if you get one now. Oh, he got one the day before. He got a buck the day before. And he said, let me show you this place over here. And so we went in, and I took quite a bit of deer sign, and I set up on the edge of a logging road off the edge of the swamp, and he was back in a ways. And all of a sudden, wasn't a little bit after daybreak, I heard a crash in the bushes over here, and a deer come flying by me. I said, well, he made a shot. He made a shot in there. But that deer didn't look hurt. He went across me. So a few minutes later, he calls me on the phone. We're on vibrate. Both phones were on vibrate. So my phone's vibrating. I said, what do you got over there, bro? He said, just hit one. Just hit one. I said, all right. He was heading in your direction. I said, well, one went by me. One went by me, but he was not hit. I can tell you right now, that deer was not hit. I could read his body language. He was not hit. Well, I hit one. I said, all right. I said, it's been a little bit. Let's come down and see if we can pick the trail apart. There's got to be a blood trail here, right? So I came down, and the road where I was at curved down around the swamp real fast, and he was back over here. And I thought, well, maybe that deer that he shot was further down, went across. And it did. It was in the middle of the road, guys. It was sitting down in the middle of the road. So I buzzed him again. I said, come on over here. Your deer's in the middle of the road, but he's still plenty alive. Come down, come back out around where I was. I thought he knew where I was. He didn't. I said, come back out around and come in from behind me. Okay. So he's come crashing right straight through the woods, right at this deer. He didn't come back around. He comes straight to that deer. I said, I saw him coming through. I said, stop. Didn't freak the deer out. The deer's still in the middle of the road, sitting down, just sitting there looking. It's mortally wounded. And it's just sitting there looking. I thought it's going to jump up any second and haul ass. So he come around. I said, stop. He's looking, he saw me, he backed up. He said, okay. I said, back up and come back around on the road and come in behind me. I want you to put another arrow in this thing. It's your deer. I want to get you to get another arrow. So he comes around finally and slips up right beside me. He says, where do I put it? And the deer's back was to us. I said, punch him right down through them shoulder blades. Punch him right through there, a little tad low, but punch him right through there. He did. That deer jumped up, guys, like that. It's a good thing we put another arrow in this deer. And he booked it. He came out of there, and I was watching closely where he's going, and I marked a spot over there, and he went around that tree right there by that spot. I said, I got that spot marked. And I'm sitting there looking, and I see a branch over there doing this. He's death kicking. So I said, your deer's going to be right over there anyway. So we harvested that deer. So this day is the next day, the next morning, when I'm taking this stuff in. I was only there for a few days. He lived up there. So I was only there for a few days, and I wanted to increase my odds. So he was licking that stuff, and I put that 125 grain muzzy right in the boiler room, guys. And he ran out there, and I said, well, I'm not going to blood trail him. And when I called my buddy, he said, don't blood trail him. I need blood trail experience. Well, you could have blood trailed this one, guys, by braille. The trail was mopped with blood all the way through. And it ran out there, I don't know, probably 50 yards, I'm guessing, and piled up. So, anyway, he came back. He was so excited. He said, where'd you hit him? I said, right here. Go, just start picking the trail. You didn't, like I said, you didn't have to look very hard to see where he went, because the trail was mopped with blood. All right, guys, we've got this thing going on here. Let's go out here in the woods and smear up our bait tree. We'll put a camera on it tonight, and we can see how the critters react to this. Now, I've done this in the past, and I'm hearing rain. It's raining. All right, may not be able to spread this right away, but anyway, I put this out for wild pigs before, and deer come to it, and coons come to this, and something else came to it. Moths. Big brown moths by the hundreds. The tree was covered with it. Wherever I spread this stuff, the moths, the night moths came in and were eating this stuff. But what was pretty cool was the raccoons came in, and they were sitting there on their butts, picking them moths off, and they're licking the peanut butter and molasses too. but they're sitting there picking. It was funny to watch. They're sitting there picking those moths, and they were just eating them like popcorn, guys. Eating them like popcorn. There was hundreds of them. So they got double protein that day, guys. A little sweet protein in them moths. But this little bait trick here works, and you can slip this into your hunting areas. In the mornings, you know, a lot of these places you hunt, like in Canada and whatever, you can sit in the tree stand, guys, up there. If you're not baiting, you can sit there in them tree stands and until you turn into a dry skeleton. You ain't gonna find them. There's too much area. But they can pick this molasses and peanut butter up with their nose and come in like they're on a string, just like that deer did when I was up in that swamp. So this is something to think about, you know. I don't guess it was totally kosher legal what I was doing, but hey, like I said, you ain't gonna get these critters, and there's no big deal to it. They say, oh, it's unethical and this and that. Oh, BS. That's BS, guys. Please, come on, work with old Steve-O, please. A Brazilian pepper, guys, is starting. See those little white. I know it don't look like much, but it's just starting. Let's go in the woods here. Shh, quietly. Paint this tree up in here. Here's my corn pile. They haven't been hammering it too much. I've got a pair of 6-pointers coming in here. There's that big pine right there. One up. See that branch coming off there? See that branch coming off right there? That's where I'll have my seat. So I'll be about 20 feet off the ground. Here's my trophy rock, and here's this tree here. We were baiting over here, you know, but it just, with all the rains we've had and this and that, it's just been bad. So what we're gonna do, here's our baiting tree. Yeah, right here. So all we're gonna do here is get a big old handful and just mop it all over this tree. Smash it right into the bark. Make them work for it, guys. Actually, this stuff thickened a little bit once I added the molasses to it for some reason. I don't know why. You would have thought it would have got soupier, but it didn't. Fixing to get some lightning bolts in here, and here I am painting a tree. All right, guys, that's it. Let's not play around out here. I'm hearing lightning, some big deer tracks here. All right, I'm gonna come back and add a little corn to this just before dark. But there's your tree. There she is. And when that canopy over it, it shouldn't rinse that off, you know, very quickly. All right, very good. I gotta get out of the rain, it's coming. Okay, guys. Yeah, pepper's coming, and I'm baiting the bees up too now. I'm baiting the bees up, yeah, stimulating them. Just feeding them a little bit, cranking them up, getting them ready. I want them to really hit, I want them to be ready to go, hitting that bloom when that thing fully blooms. It's going to be running a whole month or more, that Brazilian pepper. So that's our fall crop. If you really want, you want another crop after that, you can go all the way to Naples down there in Florida and set up camp down there if you can find a spot. I'm sure there's many commercial guys that want to do the same thing down there, get down there and hit that Melaleuca crop. I call it punk. It's a white paper tree. It comes from Australia. That's going to bloom right after pepper. So yeah, you can get that crop too. So we want to just bait them up. We want to feed them. We want to feed them and then bleed them. You know what I mean? Feed them, then bleed them. That bait will bring them in, and then you can bleed them after they come in and hit that bait. All right. Thanks for coming by. God bless you. You've been a great audience. You've been a great audience, and thank you very much. See you soon. Bye bye.